Hey there, it's me Eden. Welcome to Crossdressing Adventure Stories. Today I'm going to share with you cross-dressing adventure story called Wife Hypnotized Husband to Wear Women's Dresses, Part 1, brought to you by Alana. So, if you're new to the channel, then please consider subscribing and be a part of our inclusive community. Gloria knocked on the door of the dressing room, and Dr. Specs invited her in. He sat at his dressing table getting ready for his stage show. "Can I help you?" he asked. "I'm Gloria Stoner. I understand you were once able to hypnotize a man into wearing dresses. You got him so he experienced severe stomach cramps if he didn't dress like a woman. Is that correct?" Dr. Specs motioned Gloria into a chair and said, "That was completely unintentional. I would never do something like that on purpose." "Really? Not even just for a day? Not even for $1,000? She placed the money on the table. 10 $100 bills. He smiled. "Only just for the day? I just thought it would be a fun little April Fool's Day joke for my husband. It's on a Sunday, he won't be going into work anyway, so no harm done." Dr. Specs looked at the money again. "I really shouldn't do this. But you say it's only for the day? Just one day. You can release him that evening. Look, it's very difficult to hypnotize someone into doing something he doesn't want to do. I don't say it's impossible, but it's very difficult. Do you think your husband would like to wear dresses?" "My husband is an ex-Marine. He was a linebacker in college. He's a conservative Republican. So I would say that, no, he's probably never had any desire to wear women's clothing, which is what's going to make this joke so incredibly funny. He's big and muscular, and he'll never be able to fit into any of my clothes. I'll have to buy some dresses of his own to wear." Dr. Specs reached into a desk drawer and produced a bottle of medicine, which he gave to Gloria. "You'll need to dose him with 2 drops of this. I'll be out to see him on March 31st, in the evening. Let's say about 7 o'clock. Tell him I'm an insurance salesman. That'll be my cover. Before I get there, slip a few drops into a drink and give it to him. He should be pretty compliant by the time I arrive." "Perfect. Let me have your address, please." She wrote the address on a slip of paper and gave it to him. She giggled. "I can't wait to see what he looks like in a pretty dress. I know just what I'm going to make him wear. I saw it this afternoon at a big and tall dress shop downtown. Hang the dress in his wardrobe that night, next to his regular clothes. He'll put it on that morning. Lingerie, too? The lingerie can go in his underwear drawer. And I suppose there will be high heels, as well?" She nodded and smiled. "And a wig, and some makeup, please. And some jewelry. And pantyhose, of course. Put it all in his underwear drawer. Oh, and there's some other dresses I'll want him to try on that day, so he has to be able to take off his dress and put on another dress without any stomach cramps. Lingerie, too. But he can't be allowed to wear any pants, even women's pants, even over his dress. I want him to really panic." He sighed. "Very well. I really shouldn't be doing this. But if it's only for the day, I guess there's no harm done. I'll be there on March 31st to put him under, and then back on April 1st, 7 o'clock, to release him." Gloria left, giggling. The morning of April 1st in the year 2001, Carl Stoner walked into the kitchen and asked his wife, "Honey, where did I leave the NBA tickets? The guys will be here any minute." Gloria took one look at her husband and burst into laughter. Dr. Specs had done it. Her muscular 6'4" husband was wearing the sheer low-cut pink chiffon dress she'd bought for him. Beneath it she could see the lacy pink satin slip and the bra she'd bought, and when she looked at his legs in tan-colored pantyhose and pink high-heeled pumps, she saw that he'd even shaved his legs that morning. His face was adequately made up, and he was wearing the wig she'd gotten for him, as well as her pink clip-on earrings and faux pearls. "What's so funny?" he asked. "Incredible. He was dressed like a woman and he didn't even know it." "Go take a look at yourself in the mirror," she said between gasps of laughter. He went into the bedroom, thinking he had some little smudge on his face or something. His wife followed. He looked at himself in the full-length mirror. "Look at yourself. You're wearing a dress." Suddenly his eyes widened and his jaw dropped. He reached out his hands to touch his dress. He couldn't believe it. Then he put his hands on his chest, feeling the falsies in his bra. "Carl, if you wanted to wear my dresses, all you had to do was ask," said his wife, and laughed again. She was loving the scared expression on his face. It was all he could do to say a word. Carl had faced enemy combat in the Marines, but apparently that was nothing compared to the horror of wearing a pretty pink chiffon dress. "Gloria, I swear I don't know how this happened." "You don't? Someone just broke in here and slipped a dress over your head? Without you knowing it?" "I swear I don't remember putting this on. I don't know what's happening." "Oh, don't worry about it. You can wear my dresses if you want to. You look pretty in a dress. You should dress like a woman full-time." He was going to protest, but suddenly his face took on a panicked expression. "The guys will be here any minute. I've got to get out of this get-up." "You just try," thought his wife. He kicked his heels off and reached back to unbutton his dress. Suddenly he grabbed his midsection and doubled over in pain. He sat down on the bed. "What's wrong?" his wife asked innocently. "I don't know. I've got terrible stomach cramps." "You've been a woman for 5 minutes, and already you've got cramps. This isn't funny. Something's wrong. I've got to get to the hospital. Maybe your girdle is too tight." "What girdle?" "The one you're wearing." "Right here," she said, putting her hand at the top of his girdle, which she could feel through his slip. She took a few steps across the room and retrieved the heels and put them back on his feet. Then she buttoned up his dress. "How do you feel now?" He stood up, wobbling a bit in his heels. "Fine." "What the hell is going on with me?" "I don't know, honey. I guess you just like wearing dresses." "I don't like wearing a dress," he almost yelled. "Then why are you wearing one? Take it off." "Get it off me." He turned his back to her so she could unbutton his dress. She unbuttoned it slowly, one button at a time, watching his reaction. She unbuckled the fabric-covered belt and unbuttoned the satin cuffs. She slipped his dress off of his shoulders and had him step out of it. He was standing there in his pink satin slip, pantyhose, high heels and lingerie, wig, makeup and jewelry. "Something's wrong," he said, grabbing his midsection. "What's wrong?" "Put it back on. Button me up." She helped him back into his dress and quickly buckled his belt and did up his buttons. By the time she got to the top button, he was breathing easier. "So, do you like wearing dresses or not?" she asked. "Honey, I don't know what's going on. You've got to help me." He heard a knock at the front door. Several knocks, in fact, and a lot of rowdy yelling. His friends were out front, ready to go to the game. Oh, no. Oh dear God. He was really panicked. Honey, take it easy. So they see you in a dress. So they see you wearing pantyhose and makeup. Big deal. They can't see me like this. Go out and tell them I'm sick. Tell Em I can't go. But you never get sick. Couldn't I just tell Em you're dressed like a girl? Don't you dare. Gloria went to the front door and opened it. She told Carl's friends that he wouldn't be going to the game with them because he was sick. What's wrong with him? I don't know, she said. Stomach problems, I think. The flu? Maybe. Man, stomach flu would never make me miss this game. What a pussy, said one of them, and then regretted it when he saw the look from Gloria. He has our tickets, said one of the guys. I'll get him, she said, and headed back toward the bedroom. Carl's friends followed her into the house. At the door of the bedroom, one of them said, "Can we see him?" She grinned wickedly. Sure. Why not? As she opened the door, she barely saw Carl disappear under the bed covers, his pretty skirts flying. He pulled the covers over his face. His friends trooped into the room, and she went to the top bureau drawer and retrieved the tickets from a white envelope. She handed them to one of Carl's friends. You okay, Carl? You doin' okay there, buddy? Carl was shaking and shuddering, but Gloria thought he was probably faking it for their benefit. She noticed his friends looking at him oddly. It could be because he was lying on his back, and they noticed that he appeared to have breasts. Hopefully they thought it was due to the blanket having an odd fold or rumple in it. He needs his rest. Better leave him alone. They trooped out again, and Gloria saw them to the door. They gave him their best wishes on the way out. When she got back to the bedroom, she saw Carl awkwardly getting out from under the covers, his skirt hiking up as he slid out of bed, showing off his slip and his girdle. He stood up and smoothed down his skirt. Why did you let them in here? He asked angrily. Why not? What's the big deal if they see you in a dress? What do you think they're going to do to you? Why is it any of their business if you like wearing dresses? He didn't bother to deny it again, just sat on the bed in consternation. Honey, if you're going to be wearing my dresses, you have to learn how to sit in a dress. Here, let me show you. Gloria, something is going on here and I think you know what it is. This isn't one of your dresses. It's too big for you. She smiled. April Fool, she said, and laughed like a maniac. She sat next to him on the bed and put one hand on his shoulder. He didn't even smile. What's going on? You remember the fellow who came here last night, trying to sell you insurance? Vaguely. His name is Dr. Specs, and he's a hypnotist. He got you to dress like a woman, and this is how you're going to stay until 7 o'clock tonight when he'll drop by and release you from the post-hypnotic suggestion. Meanwhile, you get to find out how the other half lives. You get to see what it's like to wear pretty dresses and pantyhose and lipstick. He stood up. I don't think that's very funny. Why would you want to humiliate me like this? What did I ever do to you? Oh, come on, honey, it was just a joke. Can't you take a joke? You think it's funny, putting me through stomach cramps? Oh, that's just the sort of thing we women have to put up with every so often. Must be your time of the month. Go to hell, he said and headed for the door. She ran after him as he went into his study and slammed the door and locked it. "Honey, I did this so we could spend the day as girls together. I thought it would be fun. I bought you some other dresses. Wouldn't you like to try them on?" Nothing. She could hear him turning on his word processor to get a little work done. "Honey, it was just a joke." Nothing but the sound of her husband working. He spent hours in that study. Gloria went out to the kitchen and made herself some lunch, hoping he would join her. He was a corporate attorney, and she kept telling him he could get a lot more work done at home if he'd just get himself a computer, but he insisted that sort of thing was for secretaries. But he did occasionally work on a few legal briefs at home in the evening. He usually worked a 12-hour day 6 days a week, and at least half a day on Sunday. This was the first real day off he'd taken in a while, and Gloria had to admit that it pissed her off that he was willing to take a day off to spend with his friends but not with her. Well, he would be spending the day with her today, one way or another. She just had to let him cool down a little, and he'd see the humor in the whole thing and they'd both have a good laugh. After a few hours she heard him leave his study, but it was only to go to the bathroom. She giggled, thinking of him trying to go to the bathroom in a dress for the first time. Pulling down his girdle and his pantyhose and his panties. Pulling up his dress and trying to sit down. Getting caught in a tangle of skirts. It would probably take him several tries. Maybe she should go and help. No, better to just leave him alone until he cooled off. Finally, at 6 o'clock, he came into the kitchen. And when Gloria saw him, she just started laughing all over again. "I'm sorry," she said, "I forgot how pretty you look in a dress. I didn't come in here for you to laugh at me. I came in here because I'm hungry. I haven't eaten all day. Sit down. I'll heat you up some leftovers. Dr. Specs is coming by in an hour, and then you'll be able to take off your dress. Stop being such a grump about this. No one saw you but me. 1 more hour and it will all be over." 7 o'clock came, and no Dr. Specs. By 8 o'clock he still hadn't arrived. Gloria was starting to get worried, because she knew his nightclub show started at 8. "I'm going to the nightclub and find out what happened to Dr. Specs." "Stay here." Carl angrily replied that he had no intention of going anywhere, dressed as he was. Gloria got in the car and headed to the nightclub. When she got there, she found that his show had been canceled. She knocked on the door until she got the manager. "Where is Dr. Specs?" she asked. "Are you a relative?" "A client." "Well, I'm afraid he had an accident. He was crossing the street and got run over by a drunk driver. They took him to the county general." "Oh, no." When she got to county general, it took her some time to find the doctor in charge of his case. Finally she did, and she was told that the patient was in a coma. "How long do you expect him to be like this?" "There's no way of knowing. It could be days, weeks, even months." "Are you a relative?" "A client." "Could I be informed when he comes out of the coma?" She left her address at the front desk and drove home. She had a bad feeling about this. She dreaded having to tell her husband that he would have to wear dresses for days or weeks or even months. When she got home, she gave him the bad news. He stared at her incredulously. "Damn it," he said. "It has to have worn off by now." He got up from the table and hurried to the bedroom, going as fast as he could go in 3-inch heels. He grabbed a pair of pants from a hanger in the wardrobe and threw them on the bed. "Okay," he said, "take the dress off me as fast as you can, and I'm going to try to put these pants on." She started by unbuttoning his cuffs. Then she unbuckled the belt on his dress. Then she unbuttoned his dress as quickly as she could, and pulled it down until it was a little pink puddle on the floor. He cried out in pain, but he grabbed the pants, sat down on the floor, put one leg in, then the other. He was still wearing his high heels. He pulled the pants up as far as his knees. And that was as far as he got. He grabbed his midsection and yelled, "Get him off. Get him off me." She pulled his pants off, then took his dress and started trying to pull it over his head. "You have to sit up, honey." "I can't. Too much pain." She wound up having to push his body into his dress. When he realized what she was trying to do, he helped a little by pushing against the floor with his high heels. Finally, his head popped out of the collar. "How do you feel now?" "Better." "Can you stand up?" "I think so." He stood up. He put his arms into his sleeves and buttoned the cuffs while his wife buttoned him up the back. He was shaking. "That's the worst pain I've ever felt in my life." "I'm sorry, honey. I never meant for this to happen. Not for this long, anyway. It was just supposed to be a little April Fool's Day joke." "Gloria, there's no way you can ever apologize enough for doing this to me, so don't even try, okay?" He pushed past her and went back to the kitchen. She followed. He sat at the table and tried to think. She wanted to tell him about tucking his skirt behind him when he sat down, but now was probably not the time. "Can't you just call in sick?" she asked. "How long am I supposed to be sick? Weeks? Months? I couldn't do that to the firm. I'm heavily involved in several major suits right now." He sighed. "I'm just going to have to tell them the truth. And you'll have to come with me, tomorrow, to help me explain. I don't know what else to do. If I have to wear dresses to work, I have to wear dresses to work, I guess. Unless they fire me immediately, and I wouldn't blame them if they did. Damn it, Gloria, how could you do this to me? Damn these shoes. My feet are killing me." He took off one of his pumps, and suddenly felt the pain in his midsection again. Not as bad as before, but still pretty bad. "Damn it," he said, putting his shoe back on. "I can't even take off these high heels. How am I ever going to take a shower if I can't take off these damn clothes?" "I think I have an idea on that," she said. "Come on." They went back to the bedroom. She laid a blue polyester dress and a lacy black slip on the bed. It was pretty clear from the size of them that she'd bought them for her husband to wear. "I want you to take off your dress and your pink slip and put these on." "No. I'm not taking off my dress again. I've had enough pain for one night." "Honey, I'm pretty sure you can take off your dress without pain if you're taking it off just to put on another dress. Please, just try it, for me. Unbutton me, again." She undid his buttons, he unbuttoned the cuffs on his dress and unbuckled the belt himself. He took off his dress, without pain. Then he flipped the two straps of his slip off of his shoulders, and wriggled out of his slip. Gloria giggled to see him in just a girdle, a long-line bra with falsies, panties, pantyhose and pink high-heeled pumps. "What's so funny?" "Nothing. Hurry, put on your black slip. Don't delay." He pulled his slip over his head and tugged it into place. Now the blue dress. He pulled it over his head. It buttoned up the front and had a matching sash, which he tied. She brought some black patent leather pumps out of the closet and put them on the floor in front of him. They were the same size as the pink high heels he was wearing. "Put these on." "What is the point of all this, Gloria? We need to know what will cause you pain and what won't. Please, just put on the black pumps." He stepped out of his pink heels and into his black pumps without any stomach cramps. "Okay," she said, "I think I know how you'll be able to take a shower. Let's try this." She took his pink chiffon dress and headed into the bathroom with it. He followed. She hung his dress up on the door, then got some more lingerie for him to wear. She placed it on a chair and put his pink pumps on the floor, all in plain sight. "Okay, we're going to see if you can take off all your clothes long enough for a shower. I want you to take off your dress, but keep in mind that you're only doing it to put on your pink chiffon dress over here. You're only taking off one dress to put on another one. Same with your slip. Then take off your pumps, your girdle, your nylons, but you're only doing it to put on your other lingerie. Then if you can take off all your clothes without any pain, we'll see if it will last long enough for you to take a shower." He started to unbutton his blue dress down the front. He untied the sash and slipped out of his dress. He took off his slip and stepped out of his pumps. No pain so far. He carefully pulled his girdle down to the floor and stepped out of it. He peeled off his pantyhose and took off his white satin panties. Still no pain. He was still wearing a wig and makeup and some jewelry, but the only piece of lingerie he was wearing was his bra. His wife had bought him a long-line bra, which is different from a standard bra in that it extended from the cups almost down to his waist, so it had a lot more hooks to undo in the back. His wife undid all the hooks for him. The moment of truth. Telling himself over and over again that he was only taking off his bra so he could put on another one, he took it off. And he clutched his midsection and fell to the floor in pain. "Damn it! Damn it! Put it back on me. You said this would work." His wife helped him with his bra, and he soon found that he had to put his lingerie back on one piece after another without pausing, or the pain would start again. He put back on all the lingerie he'd been wearing. His wife had to show him how to put on his pantyhose, even though he'd put them on himself that morning. But he was in some sort of a hypnotic trance then. Finally, he buttoned up his blue polyester dress and stepped into his pumps, and was able to breathe easier. "Okay, honey, it looks like you can't be naked, because when you're naked you're not dressed like a woman. And you've been hypnotically conditioned to dress like a woman and to wear dresses and pantyhose and lingerie and high heels at all times. So I can't ever be naked? Until Dr. Specs releases me from all this? I guess so. Then how will I take a shower?" "Well," she said, looking him over from head to toe, "I guess you'll just have to wear what you're wearing. In the shower. You expect me to shower in a dress and pantyhose and a slip? And a bra and a girdle? Well, polyester is washable. And you can unbutton the front of your dress and reach in to soap up your underarms. You can pull your sleeves back and soap your arms, and you can soap your legs right through your pantyhose. And then what? Go to work soaking wet? No, you can take off your dress and your lingerie and change into dry clothes. We'll have to dry you off as you go, and make sure you're never completely naked. We better try it, just to make sure it'll work. We'll put aside the dress you're wearing and keep it in the bathroom. It'll be only for showering. I'm not showering in a dress. It's either that or no showers at all." She walked over to the shower and turned it on, adjusting the temperature. He shook his head in disbelief. He couldn't believe this was happening to him. He walked over to the shower, then looked down at his heels. Can I at least take off my high heels? If you think you can stand the pain. No, no more pain. I can't take any more pain tonight. He stepped into the shower, being careful not to slip in his high heels. The hot water hit his dress, making it cling to his body. He unbuttoned the front of his dress and soaped his underarms. No pain. He buttoned his dress up again, pulled his sleeves back and soaped his arms. Then he did his best to soap his legs through his pantyhose. While he was showering, his wife went into the bedroom and got her pink flannel nightgown to see if he could wear it to bed. It was about the only thing she owned that was roomy enough for him to fit into. She came back just as he stepped out of the shower. She giggled at the sight of him. What's so funny? You, in your soaking wet dress. He glared at her. I hate you for doing this to me, he said. I will never, ever forgive you for this. Laugh at that. There was nothing she could say to that, so she grabbed a towel to help him dry off. He took off his dress, and she dried him as best she could. He knew he had to keep taking off his clothes without pausing, or the pain would begin. He stepped out of his heels, took off his girdle, pantyhose, and panties. His wife kept drying him. Once again he was only wearing a bra, and he was dry from the waist down. Give me those panties, quick, he said. His wife grabbed his dry panties from the chair and gave them to Carl. He put them on. Then she gave him a brand new pair of tan pantyhose, never worn. He was having difficulty putting them on, but as long as he didn't pause or rest, the painful stomach cramps didn't come. Brand new pantyhose are always a lot harder to put on than ones you've worn a few times, said Gloria. While he put on his pantyhose, she started unhooking his bra. She got it unhooked, then she waited for him to finish putting his pantyhose on. She helped him off with his bra, took the falsies out of the cups, dried him quickly, then grabbed another long-line bra from the chair. It was not much different from the other bra, just a lot more lacy and feminine. Just a second, said Carl. He took advantage of the fact that he wasn't wearing a bra or a girdle, and took a few deep breaths. That one brief pause was about all he could afford to take. Then he let his wife help him put on his bra and hook it up in the back. She put his falsies in the cups. I need the girdle, he said. She handed him his girdle, and he put it on. He walked over to the chair and grabbed the pink slip he'd been wearing for most of the day, and pulled it on over his head, then tugged it down into place. Try this, she said, handing him her nightgown. Maybe you can sleep in it. He pulled it over his head, and waited. Nope, not gonna work, he said, grabbing his midsection. He pulled it off over his head so quickly he almost pulled his wig off, too. Damn it, he said, I was so close to getting through this with no more pain. Give me my dress. She took his pink chiffon dress, the one he'd been wearing almost all day long, off its hanger and unbuttoned it for him. She held it out for him and told him to step into it. He took it from her and quickly stepped into it, first one leg, then the other, being careful not to get his heels caught. As soon as he pulled it up his body and put his arms in the sleeves, the pain stopped. His pink slip was caught in the back. Gloria freed it and buttoned his dress for him. She reached under his skirt and tugged down his slip. Sorry, honey. I was thinking you could sleep in one of my nightgowns, but you can't. I guess a nightgown just isn't a dress. So I have to sleep in my dress? It's not bad enough I have to shower in a dress, I have to sleep in one, too? Looks like it. Great. Just great. I can't believe I have to wear dresses. I can't believe I have to go to work tomorrow morning wearing a dress. Why don't we get some sleep, honey? It won't be so bad. Gloria took his wet lingerie and his wet blue polyester dress and put them in the dryer and turned it on. Carl went into the bedroom and pulled back the covers. He still couldn't believe this was happening to him. He set the alarm so he could get to work as early as possible. He was used to taking off his bedroom slippers before he got into bed, so out of habit he took off his high heels and got under the covers. Painful stomach cramps reminded him that he had to put them back on. I have to wear high heels to bed, he thought, slipping his feet back into his pumps. Great. Just great. He slid back under the covers, not caring in the slightest that he was hiking his skirt and his slip above his waist. Gloria got into bed beside him and turned off the lights. He closed his eyes and tried to get some sleep, tried to ignore his bra straps digging into his shoulders, tried to ignore the fact that he could barely breathe in that damn girdle, tried to ignore his throbbing feet in his pink high heels. Every movement of his body reminded him that he was wearing a dress. He awoke in the middle of the night with an urgent need to relieve himself. He turned on the bedside light and pulled back the covers. What the hell am I wearing, he thought, and then remembered that he had to wear dresses every single hour of every day of his life, until he was released from this living hell. He was sleepy, and as he stepped onto the floor he forgot he was wearing high heels, which is an easy thing to forget if you're in bed and you're also a man. His heels stabbed the carpet, and when he tried to stand up he wound up falling backward and landing hard on the floor. Damn it, he yelled, waking up his wife. He grabbed his pumps and threw them across the room. And then grabbed his stomach and remembered all over again that he couldn't do that. He sat up and got onto his knees, then tried to get to his pumps by crawling across the floor on his knees, still holding his stomach. His skirt got caught and he fell forward onto his face, the back of his dress flying up above his waist. His wife giggled at the sight of her husband lying on the ground with his dress above his waist, exposing his pink satin slip. My heels, he cried out. Get my high heels. She got out of bed and grabbed his pumps and put them back on his feet. You are so helpless, I swear, she said. He stood up, unsteadily. You're going to ruin your pantyhose, crawling around like that. Fix your skirt, honey, your slip is showing. He tugged down his dress, taking a look in the mirror to make sure it looked okay. What were you doing, anyway? I had to go to the bathroom. So go. Need any help? Of course not. No, you've done a great job of it so far. Fallen down twice and you haven't even gotten out of the bedroom yet. Honey, you have to be careful when you're wearing high heels. Which for you is always. Her husband said not another word, just angrily walked past her to the bathroom. She got a big kick out of seeing his skirt swish and swirl about his nylon-clad legs as he strode out of the room. She was having so much fun watching her husband have to wear dresses, and it was only just beginning. The alarm woke him in the morning. Of course, he was still hoping it was all a dream, and that he didn't really have to dress like a woman 24 hours a day, but reaching for the alarm and feeling his bra strap tug at his shoulder reminded him of the terrible humiliation that was in store for him. He got out of bed, unsteady on his high heels. He was sweaty under his pink chiffon dress and his lacy pink slip, from having slept with too many covers on. His dress was wrinkled all over. He walked around the bed and looked at his wife. Damn you, he thought. How could you do this to me? Then he shook her awake. She opened her sleepy eyes and looked at him. Hi, she said, and giggled. Hi. I'm going to take a shower. I'm all sweaty. Where's my blue dress? In the dryer. I'll get it. She brought back his dress and his lingerie. He took off his pink chiffon dress and let it fall to the floor. Change your slip, too, said Gloria. He took off his pink slip and handed it to his wife, then put on his lacy black one. Then he put on his blue dress and buttoned it up the front. He went into the bathroom and changed into his black pumps, which were still moist from the night before. Then he took a shower, and afterwards his wife helped dry him and helped him change into dry lingerie, like she'd done the night before. When he was back in his pink slip and high heels, he realized he'd left his pink dress on the floor of the bedroom. Rushing back as fast as he could go in his heels, he hurried back into the bedroom and picked up his dress from the floor. Carl, don't wear that dress, it's all wrinkled. You slept in it. What possible difference could it make? Well, if it doesn't make any difference, then wear one of your other dresses. He could already start to feel the stomach cramps starting. Fine. Give me whatever dress you want me to wear, right now. She ran to the closet and took out a pink satin sheath with a back zipper. It was belted, so she was pretty sure it would fit him. She unzipped it for him and unfastened the belt, and when he stepped into it and put his arms into the long sleeves, his stomach cramps stopped. His slip was caught in the zipper, and she reached in and freed it. She zipped up his dress for him, and he fastened the belt. How many dresses did you buy me? He asked. 4. Would you like to see the other one? Not really. Gloria, I have to shave. Put some clothes on. I want to get to work right now and find out if I still have a job. He headed into the bathroom, and as soon as he took a step he realized that his dress had a very tight skirt. He couldn't take a full stride. It would take him nearly twice as many steps to walk from one room to another. He lathered up his face, and Gloria rushed in with a checkered tablecloth and tied it around his neck. I don't want you to get any spots on your dress, she said. No, of course not. That would make me look ridiculous, wouldn't it? He shaved and went back into the bedroom. Gloria was dressed. He didn't comment on the fact that she'd chosen to wear slacks and comfortable shoes. Well, that's what he would wear if he could. Carl, if you don't mind? Your makeup is a mess. Fine. Whatever. Just hurry. I want to get going. He sat on the edge of the bed, and his wife removed his makeup for him. Wait a minute. Maybe I don't have to wear makeup. He waited. Then he clutched his stomach in pain, and realized it was ridiculous that he should be able to go to work with no makeup on. That would be like putting on a pair of pants, instead of wearing a dress. It would be like walking around in comfortable loafers instead of wearing high heels. It would be like not wearing a bra, or not wearing pantyhose, or not wearing a slip. What did he think he was, anyway? A man. Put it on me, he said miserably. She applied foundation, lipstick, eyeshadow, mascara, face powder, and blush to his face. He looked in the mirror and couldn't see any difference. He looked like a 6'4" muscular man in a tight-fitting pink satin dress, wearing makeup. Anything else? Your wig is pretty ratty. I got you another one. She took it from the closet and gave it to him. He took off the wig he'd slept in and put on the new one. There was no difference between the two, except that the new wig was a longer style. Can we go now? He asked. Sure. He grabbed a blanket from the bed. What's that for? You're going to drive me to work. I'll stay in the back seat. Under a blanket? Yes. I'm going to hide under a blanket because I'm dressed like a woman and I don't want people to see me, and I really don't give a damn if you think that's cowardly, or stupid, or if it's going to wrinkle my damn dress or smudge my makeup, or anything else you've got to say. We're going right now. He draped the blanket over his head and body so the neighbors couldn't see him, and went outside to the car, like a vampire fearing the sunlight. He jumped in the back seat and curled up in a fetal position, and pulled the blanket over his body. He could feel the blanket pulling across his legs in his sheer pantyhose. Gloria got in the front seat and started up the car. I really think you're being silly about this. Drive, he said. Okay, we're going, keep your pants on. I mean, keep your dress on. No need to get hysterical. By the time they finally got to his firm, it was 7 o'clock in the morning. His boss was the vice president in charge of civil litigation, and he was usually in his office by 6. He directed Gloria to go around to the back entrance and park by the stairs. Anyone in sight? No. Okay. We're going to take the stairs to the 7th floor. You get out first. Gloria got out of the front seat and slammed the door shut. When he was sure she was out, Carl threw the blanket aside and slid out of the car as quickly as he could, which meant that his pink dress got hiked up almost to his waist, revealing at least 6 inches of his lacy pink satin slip. Gloria laughed like it was the funniest thing she'd ever seen in her life. Shut up, said Carl. Stop laughing. I'm sorry, she said. I know I shouldn't laugh, but... And she started again. I just can't help it, she said. He tugged down his dress and headed for the stairs, not waiting for her to stop laughing. He motioned for her to follow. His pink high heels clicked across the pavement, her comfortable shoes were soundless. Usually she had a hard time keeping up with him when he was in a hurry, but because he couldn't take a full stride in his tight pink dress, she was able to get to the door leading to the stairs before him. She held the door open for him. She didn't say ladies first, but she was thinking about it. When they got in the stairwell, he said, Gloria, this is not funny. There's every possibility that I'm about to be fired because I wear dresses, and then everything I've worked for, everything I've accomplished in this firm will all be for nothing. So I'd appreciate it if you'd knock it off with the laughter and the jokes. What jokes? I didn't make any jokes. No. But you thought about it. He looked up at the stairwell, then down at his pink satin dress, his legs in his sheer nylon pantyhose, and his pink 3-inch high-heeled pumps. Then, filled with pure envy, he looked at Gloria in her slacks and her comfortable shoes. Then he looked up at the stairwell again. 7 flights of stairs in high heels. But it was better than being seen by the people who would be taking the elevator. Let's go, he said. They headed up. When they got to the 7th floor, his feet were aching. He would have loved to take off his heels and wiggle his toes for a minute, but he knew what would happen if he did. He punched in the security code, then opened the door a crack. There were a few people in the hallway. Okay, he said to Gloria, we're going directly to my boss's office, and we're not going to stop and talk to anyone, no matter what anyone says to us. Fine, she said. Carl opened the door, and they headed down the hall. Carl went as fast as he could, and Gloria had no problem keeping up with him. Reactions ranged from "What the hell?" to "Carl, is that you?" and even some outright laughter. He opened the door to his boss's office, and didn't bother holding it for Gloria, because he wasn't in much of a mood to be a gentleman while he was wearing a dress, pantyhose, a slip, a bra and a girdle, and high-heeled pumps. He rushed past his boss's secretary without a word and went into the office of the vice president in charge of civil litigation. His boss was on the phone, but he put the phone down quickly when he got a look at Carl. What is this about? What the hell? What are you wearing? The vice president in charge of civil litigation never laughed at anything. I'm sorry about this, George. Believe me, you have no idea how sorry I am. What the hell is this? Why are you dressed like a woman? Carl directed his wife to explain the whole thing. While she was telling the story, he found a chair and sat down to rest his aching feet. He tried to cross his legs the way a man usually crosses his legs, but found that he couldn't do it in his tight pink satin dress. Of course he couldn't cross his legs that way. What did he think he was, anyway? A man? He told himself to cross his legs properly, with one knee above the other, to show off his pretty legs in his sheer nylon pantyhose. After all, that was his function now, to put on a pretty dress and show off his pretty legs. It's not like they'd ever give him much else to do around here. Not now. When Gloria finished the story, the vice president in charge of civil litigation said, "You're kidding. You're telling me that you have to dress like a woman or you get physically ill. And this could go on for months? I swear that if I could stand the pain, I would. But this is the worst pain I've ever felt, and I've been wounded in combat. I'd give just about anything if I didn't have to wear a dress." Carl, how the hell could you let something like this happen? It was my fault, said Gloria. You shouldn't have done this, Gloria, said the vice president in charge of civil litigation. An attorney might get away with something like this if we were in San Francisco. But this is Houston, for crying out loud. I'm sorry, said Gloria. It was just supposed to be for one day. Just a little joke. The vice president in charge of civil litigation sat a while and thought. There's got to be a cure for this, he said. And we're going to find it. Until then, this is what we're going to do. Carl, we're going to move you to the small office on the first floor. You can come in the back entrance, and you probably won't be seen by too many people. We're going to have to delegate most of your workload to junior associates, because you can't go into court dressed that way, and you damn sure can't meet with any clients. Every day I want you to sequester yourself in your office. Don't go out for any reason, not even lunch. Get your secretary to bring you lunch. We can't take the chance of any of our clients seeing you. I'll have to pee sometime, said Carl. Fine, leave to use the men's room, but that's it. I take it you still use the men's room. That's all for now. See you in the next video, till then take care. Oh yes, please like and subscribe to my channel. And also share your feedback, it really means a lot to me.